Yo,
Yo, what's up,
what's
Whoa.
going
everybody?
down, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cigar Avengers Podcast, where real talk meets real smoke. And listen, we're joined today by a pioneer in the game, in the cigar game. He's been making cigars for a very long time, since the '90s, if I'm not mistaken. He makes cigars for a very long time, and a very stand-up guy, great person. Mr. Philip Wynne of Felipe Gregorio Cigars. How you doing, man?
Cheers, man. Cheers to all of you.
Sure.
Cheers. Cheers. I'm not drinking tonight. I just have water tonight because I'm on daddy duty. So no, I can't drink anything until everybody goes to sleep. Then I'll be drinking. What's going on, everybody? Let us know what you guys are smoking down in the comment section. We got E in here. What's up, E? Then we got
Yeah.
Darshan in here. What's up, Darshan? What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. What's up, RJL? What's going down? So, um, first off, we can start on what everybody's smoking. Mr. Wynn, what are you smoking? Oh, I'm sorry, Philip. What are you smoking?
Octopussy.
Octopussy.
Yes, sir.
Octopussy. Okay. Justin, what you smoking?
I'm smoking the Peaches.
Mmm.
Peaches 3. Yes, sir.
Steve-O, Mr. Incognito himself, what you smoking, bruh?
Peaches also.
Yes, sir.
Mm.
Same thing. Yep.
Now I broke out the 30th anniversary.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. All right, so just first things first, thank you for taking out the time to come on the show with us. We really appreciate it. We know a lot of how busy you guys can be, and the fact that you actually take out this time to sit with us and talk about your journey, talk about how you got started. We really appreciate you for coming on with us.
It's my pleasure.
So, Justin, you want to ask the first question, or you want me to do it?
Yeah, you can go ahead. You
I
got it.
got you. I got you.
Go ahead.
All right. So, Philip, how did your journey into cigars begin, and what drew you into the industry in the first place?
Well, it started in 1990. In the end of the 80s, I was working in the Middle East, and I was working for an Italian helicopter company. And the at that point, in the end of the 80s, oil prices hit rock bottom. So there were all the business deals were kind of going down. So I was a cigar smoker. I grew up in Europe. My dad was an American diplomat. I had my first cigar when I was 14 in Geneva, and I always loved cigars. So I'd gone to the university in the States. I came back in 1977, and I went to university in Washington, D.C., and I met some classmates of mine that were from Honduras.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to myself, I used to buy cigars in Georgetown Tobacco in like the late 80s, 88, 89. And the most expensive cigar on the market back then was a Zino by Davidoff. And it was made in Honduras. And I remember it was $6 a stick. And that was the most expensive. All the other cigars were around $2. So I said to myself, there might be a possibility of bringing in a cigar, a good cigar at a price point that's a bit below six, like around four. And I contacted my Honduran buddies, and they put me in touch with the factory that made the Zino, which was a factory called Flor de Copan in Honduras. And I went there. I met the owners, and the factory is a very unique operation. It was more of a cooperative where all the tobacco growers had shares in the factory. And I bought some shares and I started producing my first cigar, which was actually the Petrus. And I started producing that in 1990. And my first sales were to Lebanon because I had contacts there. And then slowly at the end of 90 and 91, I started bringing it into the United States. And and then I realized that I needed to put a face behind the brand. So I created Felipe Gregorio, which is my two names in Spanish. My first name is Philip. My second name is Gregory. So that's how I got the Felipe Gregorio brand name going.
Wow. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, you said
Yeah.
oil. So you said oil prices dropped. Like,
Yeah, it was you remember, I don't know, you're too young, but I mean back then there was an oil crisis, and the price per barrel went down, and there was lines of people waiting for gasoline in the States, and it was just a mess. The Middle East was a mess, and so all of these countries, their budgets, they revised their budgets, so they weren't buying anything anymore, or if they had bought, they weren't paying. So it wasn't sustainable for me to be working in that business.
wow.
Mm.
Thank
Wow.
God, because I got into this business, which is much better. So
Yeah. Oh man. So, Justin, you got a question?
Yeah. So when you're blending your cigars, like what's your approach when you're first starting? Is it are you thinking flavor? Are you thinking strength? Because all of these that I smoke have been amazing. So is it more
okay,
like flavor, strength, or is it more of you just trying to put yourself into the cigar?
it's I'm not a big fan of opening up strong strength. I like the cigar to be more balanced, so I blend for the cigar to change its notes. I don't like a linear smoke, so I'm always looking for like a medium to full bodied cigar, but that it changes so that when you smoke the first third is different from the second third and the final third, and so that's what I look to do. So in all these years that I've been making cigars, I have a library in my mind of all the different tobaccos from the different regions of the world, the different farms, the different primings. So I kind of know when I'm blending something, what direction I want to go into. So then if I want more strength, I'll bring in some Nicaragua. If I want to get more sweetness, I'll put in Matafina from Brazil, or I'll use Pelo de Oro. So it's a whole. It's like actually like painting with colors. If you have a lot of different colors and you mix the colors, you want your blue to be lighter, you add a bit of white in it, or you want it darker, you put a bit of black in it. The
Mm-hmm.
same process goes into blending.
Okay. And to kind of piggyback off of that, like when you I lost my train of thought there for a second. When you do that and you're looking at these blends, is there a favorite tobacco that you like to work with more than others? As far as when it
It's
comes to filler leaves?
filler leaves. There's like your three or four uh, old faithfuls that you know that they'll give you. So when you blend a cigar, you look one for the combustion, right? So
Mhm.
when you want combustion, there's nothing better than Olor Dominicano. Olor Dominicano is a pretty bland tobacco in itself, but it has excellent consumption. So that's your core, because where you get your flavor out of the cigars is when the oils heat up in the aged tobaccos that you're putting in the blend. They heat up, and that's what gives you those different taste profiles that I'm looking for. So the combustion is core. So I'll use Dominican Olor for combustion. If I want a bit more strength, I go to Nicaragua, Honduras. I use tobaccos that I grow in Costa Rica. It just depends on the type of blend that I want to come out with,
Nice.
and also
Nice.
availability. Remember, that's a big
Yeah.
factor, because every year the tobacco crops differ. So some years, even the same farm or the same region, the tobacco might not be as up to par as the other years. So what we do is that we work usually with 7-year inventory. So I'm always buying tobacco that I'm looking to blend 7 years from now. So we age it for seven
Okay.
years, and then throughout the process, after 3 years, we start tasting it, and as it matures, we figure out when we can use it.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome,
Yeah.
The
It's
Steven.
labor
70.
of love.
Yeah.
Man, we
Now,
get patient.
Now I have a question. We're gonna get into the story of the Maximar and all that stuff, but there's a cigar in particular. Well, we've already talked on the phone about the Maximo Ligero, so I'm good on that.
Okay.
But I want to know about the um the Frank Sinatra cigar.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra cigar was like mid 90s, 95, 96. There was a Cigar Aficionado came out, and all of a sudden there was a boom in cigars,
mm-hmm,
and everyone wanted a cigar. And the the people from Southern Wine and Spirits, which is a big liquor distributing company in the United States, said, let's cash in on this boom. Since we have all these liquor stores, we'll put in humidors in all our liquor stores, and we become retailers because everyone wants a cigar. But they wanted a cigar that would be unique to them. They didn't want to carry only brands of other manufacturers. So Frank Sinatra had a contact with them, which was a guy called Harvey Weinstein, which was his director,
mm-hmm.
and they went to Southern Wine and Spirits, and they signed an agreement where they would exclusively distribute his cigars in the United States. So Sinatra approached me because Sinatra had one criteria. He said, "Are there any Sicilians in the business?" And I was the only Sicilian. I mean, my mom was Sicilian. So by default, he came to me.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Nice.
so 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 I met with him. I met with him a number of times, and every time I met with him, it was quite a daunting experience because he wasn't a guy that took a lot of shit, if you know what I
Right.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would I would be the yes sir, no sir, yes sir, you want me to make you samples, you want me to do this for you, sir, what would you like? And he said, kid, he said, let me tell you the secret of my success. I did one take. Just make the best goddamn cigar you can and make me that. I don't want to taste 50 samples. So okay, I said yeah. So I'll do that. So the last meeting, they came up with a number. They wanted to make 500,000 cigars, and I agreed upon it and the blend, and I was going to use Connecticut from the United States, and make a medium cigar. And as I'm about to leave the meeting, he says, by the way, he says, I don't want any cigars from Honduras because Honduras, no one knows Honduras. That's a banana republic. You got to make the cigars in Dominican. Remember that Davidoff was making their cigars in Dominican, right? So in his mind, after Cuba, Dominican was the par excellence place to make a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to
Yeah.
him, I don't have a factory in Dominican. He says, well, now you do. How much do you need? So
Oh.
I hadn't been to the Dominican. I
Oh.
didn't know anything. So I did a rough calculation with the tobacco would cost me. I fludged some numbers and I said, okay, I need this. And he said, okay. He said, you want a check or you want it to be wired? And I said, well, you guys don't want a contract? He says, kid, I know where you live.
Yeah.
So that was my experience with him. And then what happened is that the boom only lasted a year. So I bought land, I built a factory, and now all of a sudden no one was buying cigars because of the 300 million cigars that were being imported in the United States. 600 million appeared. So most of them
Wow.
were
Wow.
unfermented
That's
tobacco.
crazy.
So that went down the but they managed to sell all their cigars. So
Yeah, I mean that
Wow.
that's such an iconic story. Just the fact that because me being with me being a kid born in '91, I never knew like guys like Frank Sinatra and you got like Sammy Davis Jr. Those guys were actually cigar guys. They actually really enjoyed cigars, and the fact that you were able to have that experience with Frank Sinatra, one of the all-time greats. Man, that's a cool thing. That
he
is super cool.
he
That's
told
like
he
Absolutely.
told me how he used to
Mhm.
smuggle cigars. He used to buy Cuban cigars before, and he
hmm
would he would smuggle. He'd buy boxes of them, and he'd smuggle them in back in the United States in his speaker boxes and the amp boxes for his concerts. He would open them up
Nice.
and put all the boxes in there and get them into the states that way.
that's one way to do it. That is definitely one way to do it right there. Wow, man, that's crazy. So I mean, so is there any more like in right like in today any other celebrities that you wouldn't mind working with?
Um, First of all, they have to be. I would divide that into in like the two layers. I'd work for someone that really is a cigar smoker, not
Hmm.
somebody that
Right.
wants to just use
Yeah.
his name on a cigar. Because
Right.
Right.
I saw that happen a lot again during the boom. It would be Upman by George Hamilton, or it'd be this by this guy, or that by that guy, in Texas you had what was the karate guy that's famous? Texas Marshals. I forgot
Chuck
his name, but
Norris.
Chuck
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 Norris.
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 Chuck Norris
Yeah.
came out with a cigar, and all of these cigars ultimately failed because they were their take on a manufacturer's cigar. So
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
consumer saying, "Why should?" In their mind, they're saying, "Well, I'm paying probably a buck more for royalties for Chuck Norris. Why don't I just smoke an Upman, or why don't I just smoke a cigar from that factory?" So
Right.
that really didn't work out. So if I would make a cigar for a celebrity, I want him to be hands on, that him work on the blend, that he knows what he wants, and then him to, really get behind his product. And
Yeah.
right now, I don't know, I mean, there's a lot of celebrities out there. I mean, probably the one that I would like to work the most would be Michael Jordan, because
Oh yeah.
he's a goat and he loves cigars, right? So,
Hmm.
I mean, he's probably the only one that comes to mind that I would say, well, this gentleman really deserves, a great cigar.
Yeah. You know who else is surprising, but no, because I mean he was never much of the he was never much of the talkative type to be in the spotlight. But Dennis Rodman is another that
Who?
like he Dennis Rodman.
Yeah,
He played with
yeah,
George.
yeah, 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 yeah. I remember him. Right.
Yeah.
He was
So,
he was he was he was he was controversial at the time. I mean, you remember
oh
he
yeah.
went to North Korea, but he was. You're right. He was a real cigar aficionado. I do remember that. I
Hmm.
remember seeing him at the big smokes and all that. And a
Yeah.
very very approachable guy, very down to earth. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard he was, man. I heard he definitely was. We got No coming in.
What's going on? What's going on?
What's up, bro?
No.
I'm good, man. How's everybody doing?
Doing good,
Straight,
What's
man.
bro.
going on?
But
Well, we got a question from Rob here.
oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead, go
We
ahead.
want to get into that. Rob says, "How long does it take to learn the science of leaf profiles, type, location, blending ratios, and how they affect cigar taste? And also, is there ever any stumbling into a good blend by accident?"
The answer, okay. First question, I'm still learning. 35 years into this. There's still things that I learn every day. And yes, you can stumble into a good blend because, like I say, we all have our favorite sources of tobacco. So we go to the countries, and in the countries we look for certain farms, certain growers, and then we look for certain varieties and certain primings. But the growers, sometimes there's a crop that's just amazing on a tobacco that they didn't even know what seed it was, and you stumble into that and you say, wow, what a good cigar. So you can stumble into something that can work in the blend. Remember that the blending is a slow process because you gotta work with different tobaccos. Tobacco generally has 6 leaves in it. So the wrapper aside, because the wrapper is just basically the final touch, it's what looks good, but it doesn't really give much to the taste profile of the cigar. So it's
Mhm.
what your binder holds it all together, and then your fillers, which are usually 4 leaves, and there it depends again on the primings. The higher you are on the leaf, the more strength you have, because as the tobacco grows towards the sun, it pushes the nicotine up, so that the leaves tend to be strong. The leaves tend to provide a stronger flavor. So you've heard of the word ligero, right? You know what
Hmm.
ligero is, right?
Yeah.
So ligero is the top leaves of the tobacco plant. So some of them are too overpowering, so you can't really use them, or you'd have to use half a leaf because they would kick your ass. So then you got to compensate with another tobacco variety to make the blend work. So it's a constant work in progress.
Awesome.
Now,
Yeah.
oh wait, there's another. We have another question here from Darshan. He said, if you can make any type of cigar, what would be your dream cigar to make?
That's a great question. Wow. My dream cigar probably would be with the old Cuban cigar tobacco that I first tasted when in the late '80s, because that had a profile to it that has never been repeated. But it's gone forever because they don't have the land, they've put it to waste. They didn't invest in the thing, the
Yeah.
tobacco growers have left the country. The country's in shambles. But it would be with that. If I could get my hands on some 1970s, 1960s Cuban tobacco, that would be my dream cigar.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Nice.
That makes me wonder. That makes me wonder how much good tobacco has really gone to waste that you can no
Yeah.
longer get because of the
Yeah.
fact that there was no, not saying not passion, but there was no care. No, they didn't take care of the crop. So
Right.
I wonder how many.
A lot, a lot. I mean, the bulk of it. The bulk of it. I use, I make a cigar called Pelo de Oro, and
Yes,
that
yeah.
Yeah.
there's an interesting story behind that. Pelo de Oro is an ancestral Cuban seed, and in the 1950s, every Cuban cigar was made with Pelo de Oro. What happened is that blue mold, which is a spore that comes in the dew in the morning, and it eats away the tobacco leaves. Pelo de Oro is very, very susceptible to the blue mold, and the blue mold goes from Cuba and it goes up Nicaragua, up Honduras, and goes up north to the United States. And so no one could grow that tobacco because the blue mold wasn't resistant to the blue mold. So I took
Wow.
that seed. I managed to get my hands on that seed, and I grew it in Costa Rica and in Ecuador because we're south of those currents, of those air currents. And
Right.
I'm managing to produce it. And but it's obviously not the same tobacco that was grown in Cuba because of the climatic conditions, and the soil is different. But still, it gives me some reminiscence of those old Cuban tastes that I like.
Nice.
That's super interesting. We got another question here. We have another question here by RJL. And he said, what is considered a good crop? How can you tell if a crop is better than before?
Okay, that's a great question. It's the climatic conditions at the time, right? If it rained enough, if the sun was out strong enough, all of that influences. So the climate during the crop, basically the tobacco's in the field 90 days. During those 90 days, if the elements run king. So if it rains too much, the tobacco wilts. If there's too much sun, the tobacco thins out. So you can tell a crop right away once you take it into the tobacco barns by how sticky in your hand the leaf is.
Mm-hmm.
If the leaf is very sticky, that stickiness converts to oil. So you need leaves that are thick enough, because in the fermentation process they're going to be diluting their strength. So
Okay.
you need to start with a leaf that is robust, that has texture, that has oils, and then that's when you can know right away with a tactile touch of it whether that tobacco is good.
Mm. Man, that you dropping some gems and knowledge tonight,
I
man.
hope y'all got your notebooks out, man,
I
because I'm
hope
talking
so.
out for real.
This
Look.
this is A1 knowledge stuff from someone who's been in the game for 35 years. And I love the fact that he says I'm still learning, because there's some guys that, because there actually are some guys that think that they know everything that there is to know about
Mhm.
tobacco, which I don't see how, because it's so many, it's so much and so little that it's so little that a lot of people don't know about cigars. But it's just it's so much information. You learn something new every day about a cigar or about tobacco. Period. So
Absolutely.
it's just that's just crazy right there. Um, you got a
Yeah.
question you want to ask him, man?
Not yet, man. Not yet. Not yet. I'm letting you guys just flow with it, man. But I did, I don't want to mess things up, but like I read up on him a little bit. He started smoking at 16.
At 14.
So 14. Oh my God, even I got the
14.
age. Yeah.
Let me tell you that story. That's so there was Davidoff was actually the brand Davidoff was a shop in Geneva, and there was a Mr. Davidoff. His name was Zeno. And my dad and Geneva in Switzerland is a very drab and gray place where the weather's always gray. It's cold. And when I was growing up, at a 14, you're a bit rebellious. I didn't have anything to do, so I'd walk around the town, and everything was chocolates and watches, and very drab. And then
Yeah.
his shop was a corner shop, and in his windows he had all these cigars, and he was at that point he was bringing in Cuban cigars. His first line was Cuban, and you'd see all these colors and these textures, and it was like a wonderland. So one day I got up the courage to go into the shop and ask to buy a cigar to smoke. And the guy, Mr. Davidoff himself, said to me, "I tell you what, kid, go and buy me a newspaper and I'll give you a cigar." So I went next door, I bought him a newspaper, and he gave me a Philippine cigar that was a sweet cigar that actually was rolled with banana leaf. And I smoked that, got home, vomited, and then a week later I went back and I said, I'm ready for my second one. And the same thing, he'd say, buy me a newspaper and I'll give you a cigar. And so I would hang out in the shop with him as a kid, and I was just learning all of that. And I was smelling all of these things, and I was seeing all of these men coming in with these beautiful women on their arms, with the fur coats and the gold watches. And I said, damn, this is not a bad life,
I heard that.
So
Oh man.
Yeah,
so you-
absolutely.
so you say you were over there with the original owner of Davidoff with Zeno.
Yeah.
So what was some like? Because I'm pretty sure he knew you were a young kid. So like, what life advice did he give you, or what things do you remember from those conversations that you had with him back then?
He was a very sharp businessman. He was a guy that had gone through a lot. He was a Russian Jew that had emigrated to Switzerland and had started a cigarette factories. And actually, Lenin, which created the Soviet Union then, was a guest in his house when he was exiled, and he was rolling cigarettes for him. And then they put him on a train, and he went to Moscow, and then they made the revolution against the Tsar. So Zeno was very pragmatic, and he wasn't a cigar smoker. He smoked 2 packets of Marlboro a day, and
Wow.
Oh wow.
he'd go
Hmm.
into the shop in the morning, and he'd ask his brother or the general manager by the name of a gentleman by the name of Fratkov. He says, "What do we have most in inventory?" And the guy said, "Well, we have a Churchill, we have a Toro, we have that." And he'd put that in his mouth, and he'd be in the back of the counter with that cigar in his mouth all day long. And the people would come in and say, "Well, what are you smoking?" And they say, "Oh, that's this one," and they would buy that box. So he was a businessman, but he did
That's smart.
something. He did something that no one did. Is that he took the cigar. He realized that cigars were a luxury item, and back then you could smoke in the restaurants. So he made carts where it would go into the restaurant where he'd put his cigars in the cart. He'd put fine cognacs and fine ports, and he'd do a whole production with a humidor, and the people would roll the cart into to the restaurant patrons after dinner, and they would present them a cigar and they would light it up. So cigars became a luxury after dinner addition, and he did that because now people didn't need to go to a cigar shop to buy. But then afterwards, when his fame came up and every because of that, people would start coming to his shop.
Wow.
Man, that's a great
That's,
story.
that's
Yes.
pretty, and that's good marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From back in the day, he goes, okay, you know what? Like, all right, like this restaurant right here, you can smoke inside. Let me see if I can cut a deal with these people, so this
Mm-hmm.
way I can go and promote my business there.
Exactly, and make
Yeah.
the restaurant money. So that it was a win-win.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I have a question here for you. So you've been doing this for 35 years. That's a long time to be in this industry, and to continue to do the great work that you do. I want to know from you, because we've asked, we were able to have Bobby Newman on the show, and we asked him the same question because he's been in the industry for a long time as well.
yeah, yes,
And
yes.
I want to know from you, how important is it now to use social media? How big is that for
It's a
you?
game. It's a game changer.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's a complete game changer. Complete game changer. Because before you had to rely on critics, on the magazines, and
Hmm.
tastings. But now with social media, your reach is infinite. If
Hmm.
people here, look how I got in touch with you. I would have never been able to do that without social media, right? So it's a complete game changer in that sense. And what it is, it makes the consumer more knowledgeable because they can have an access to a manufacturer, to a brand owner, to people, not only in the tobacco world, but let's say coffee, whiskey, bourbons, whatever. And now they can talk and they can communicate. You're only a few words away from talking to the guy that owns the factory. So yeah, I think it's a complete game changer.
I agree, and I think I still think that the old school way was the word of mouth way. It was the word of mouth thing, where like, hey man, listen. I still think that works as well, the word of mouth thing, because you have someone, just say you have someone that's never smoked one of your cigars, but they're watching us smoke your cigars, and how we love your cigars. They're gonna actually, and that's a word of mouth thing, but we're also kind of using a little bit of social media and technology, but it's still the word of mouth. It still
That's
comes
correct.
into
That's
play.
correct. That's
Yeah.
So
correct.
I think that that part still works as well, and it's just being able to kind of reach, and like I think technology has really really come a very long way compared to, I know, from when you first started.
Yeah, well, when I
Um,
when I first started, it was non-existent
right,
at all. So
yeah. So I mean, the magazines, and I wonder how those magazines were back then, because I know it's a lot different now
Hmm.
compared to when they first, when they were out. I know those magazines were a lot different, and
yeah,
so
well, they were the social media of that era because they could make or break you, right? Well, they couldn't break you. Well, they could break you with a bad review, but I mean, they could make you because that's the only way that your product could go out and people would see it, right?
right,
Because I'm making a cigar and I'm not going to Wyoming or Montana and all of those places, but the magazine's there, and the guy reads it and he said, "Oh, let me try this," and then he'll go to an online retailer or ask his local brick and mortar guy, "Can you bring in a box of this?" So the magazines were really fundamental. That they actually started the cigar boom, but then afterwards it got to the point where this is just me talking. It's not no basis on facts, but I believe that people got kind of tired of reading the same kind of definitions, that the tobacco is floral, that it has citrus notes, that there's red fruit, and none of these descriptions actually said it tastes like tobacco. So people started getting wary of looking how many ads were placed in the various magazines compared to the ratings they were getting. So the consumer got more wiser, right? So they said, well, maybe there's a lot of little guys out there that can't afford paying a $30,000 ad that are worth to try their cigars. And then that combined with social media and word of mouth it got to the point where boutique cigars became popular.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. So we have another question here that comes from RJL. RJL asks, he said, "Oh my bad. Oh, thank you. Have you ever created a stick that you liked but didn't make it into production?"
Yes, a lot, probably
It was a
more,
lot. He said it was a lot.
more. Yeah, and the reason is that I didn't have enough tobacco to make it a brand. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I had like 2 or 3 bales, so that I could make 5,000 amazing cigars. But it's not worth the effort to box it and band it because it's gone then because
Yeah.
it's
Right.
gone. So I have a lot
Right.
of that. But that's one of the benefits of being in the business 35 years. I have a lot of those, aging in my factory that I
Yeah.
smoke.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I wonder what I'm gonna smoke today. Oh, it's a cigar back from, I say 2005. I can grab that. And let's smoke that and see how well that smokes. Oh man. All right, so
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
go ahead, bro.
Um, so you said back in '91, and this is the most, and when I read this, it was the most random fact because you said you went to the Cincinnati trade show, and I'm thinking of a tobacco trade show in Cincinnati. Just doesn't go together because you think of the middle of Ohio. But you said during that trade show, I think you said you did $1 million worth of sales.
Yeah, I think it probably was 92 of the Cincinnati. We used to do the
Okay.
trade show. Our industry was so small. We used to do it always in Chicago. And in Chicago, we were in the Hyatt Hotel, and it was great because everyone was limited to the same size booth. So everyone would be there, and all the retailers would come, and then we'd hang out on the bar afterwards, and people got to know each other, both the retailers and the manufacturers. Then with the boom, Cincinnati came. And Cincinnati, I wrote $1 million worth of orders on the trade show floor,
Wow.
which
Wow.
was for me was amazing. But $1 million of orders doesn't mean that I had $1 million of cigars in stock. I had to make them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So by
Yeah.
the time I made them, most of the guys reneged on their orders because they went bankrupt. So and that not only to me but to a lot of other people because the boom lasted only a year. Because the fact, like I mentioned earlier, everyone thought that the design of the ring or an idea would be what makes the cigar. So a lot of people went to Dominican, Honduras, Nicaragua, and created a ring, and they didn't know anything about tobacco, and they went to guys that would make them cigars, but they had unfermented tobacco and new tobacco, and the tobacco sucked. And when they came back to the States, it was harsh. People didn't like it, and then
Mm-hmm.
all the first time smokers, tried one of those and said, "Hell, I'm not smoking this shit again." This gave me a sore throat and that's what happened. So then we had to clear through that inventory mess, and then a few faithful cigar smokers stayed in, and that's where when it kind of evened out. And then now the bar was set higher because the new cigar guys coming in were smoking better tobaccos, right? Because a lot of manufacturers, not manufacturers, but brand owners had gone out of business. So now the cigars generally are better. And I believe today the cigars are the best ever compared to when I started.
Mm-hmm.
They're the best ever. So because you know you have a lot of competition out there. So
Yeah.
you need to make sure that when you deliver a cigar that you have it. And forget the part about the tobacco. Even the construction was bad, right? Because people didn't have enough rollers to make cigars. So they were hiring people that they were just training so the cigars were plugged or they burned
Wow.
sideways or they. So if the boom would have lasted 2 or 3 years more, it would have been much better for everybody, consumer and manufacturers. But it didn't. But then we readapted to it.
That's kind of how I feel about it now because you have a lot of listen, since COVID,
Hmm.
man, it's so many people that have picked up this hobby.
Right.
A
Right.
lot.
And and now they're starting to really, now people that started just say they started right in the thick of COVID, right? 2020, right in the thick of COVID. Now, a lot of people now they've really figured out, and a lot faster than a lot of us that they've been smoking a little bit longer. Now they've really figured out, hey, this is what I like.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people that have really figured it out, in a short amount of time. Like, hey, listen, this is what I like to smoke. So, if and they're sticking with that brand too. They're standing 10 toes down for that brand. They're not like, yeah, I mean, they'll venture out and smoke some other stuff, like especially if it comes from a trusted source. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well,
Mhm.
I'll try this, but most of the time, listen, I'm gonna buy. They're kind of like, I like this cigar. I really like this cigar. I'm going to buy multiple boxes of this. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's super cool, because it's we always say build your palate, smoke everything, build your palate. And I think a lot of people have now come to, like, hey, listen, I'll smoke everything, but this right here, I know that I'm going to be smoking this all day every day. So I'm going to stock
Mhm.
up on this right here, and then the rest is kind of like, all right, I'll smoke it, maybe buy a 5 pack, maybe
Yeah.
I might buy a box of those.
Yeah, yeah, you're correct, and and like I said, since these are all products of nature, you don't know if you, even for me, if you buy, if you smoke one of my brands and you really like it, buy a couple of boxes, because I don't know in 3 years, I'm using the same tobaccos, but there'll be a difference. There'll be a little bit of a
Right.
difference,
Right.
So it's good to stock up on what you like, and then go out and experiment, because there's so many good things out there, and there's so many people, it's so innovative, and a lot
Mhm.
of new guys have come in that they're thinking outside of the box, and
Yeah.
and maybe they're making something that's incredible or something that's shit. I don't know, but I mean, you need to try it, because
Yeah.
otherwise
Mhm.
you don't know.
Right. So so that I want to ask one more question. Then we're gonna get. I know you got a question you want to ask. So is there anybody? And I know Darshan probably asked this question as well. I know he did. But is there anybody in the industry now that you would do a collaboration cigar with?
Oh, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of great people out there. Basically, there's people out there. Uh, I would do collaboration with people that are the names behind the factory, people that are actually on the factory floors. I wouldn't do a collaboration with the big multinationals, which are just the most of their executives that don't even know what a leaf of tobacco looks like. But I
Yeah.
mean, there's a number of great people out there. Ernest Carrillo, obviously Carlito Fuente, Lito Gomez, the Padrones. These are all standout people that have a love for the product, love for the industry, and have gone through all they've gone through all the pains. They've gone through
Yeah.
the hardships. And they but they lived it, and
Hmm.
and they're all standouts. So those are the type of people I would do a collaboration with, without a doubt.
I would. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just gonna throw this out there. I would love to see. I would love to see Felipe Gregorio in a Lampert collaboration. That would, because Lampert is actually, they're doing a fantastic job, and the fact that both, like, of course, well, I'm just saying it because I enjoy your cigars and I enjoy theirs as well. So
Hmm.
just let's put those two players together and see what baby comes out of it.
I unfortunately I
Yeah.
don't know them, so
We're gonna have to get you acquainted.
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get you guys acquainted.
Hmm.
Go ahead, my bad. Go ahead, I know you got a question for him.
No, I was gonna touch on something, but like I haven't heard Steven all night.
Oh
Steven
yeah,
just
I
didn't
got.
listen.
No, I
Steven,
got
you
questions. I
got
was just
questions?
waiting.
Nah, go
Hey,
for it, brother, man.
man, you came in late, bro. You already asked him something.
Uh,
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Steve.
yeah. I got two questions. So the first question is, so when can we expect the Sepa Maduro version of this Octopussy? Like
Eh,
that's the
pro-
one I'm looking forward to.
Shipping in February.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
Yes,
sir.
All
yes,
right, man. This is like hands down one of my favorite cigars of this year.
yes.
And then my
Now
second,
remember the
go
Maduro
ahead.
version. It's the same exact blend. It's just that the wrapper changes. And I use the
Right.
Sant Andres Maduro, and it changes. It changes. It's a different. It'll have a different profile.
Okay.
But they both are the same blend.
It's work for me.
Mm.
Nice.
So my second question is this. So this observation is just like a consumer, like so when it comes to like anniversary cigars, it seems like most of them are like a disappointment for the most part. Yeah. So it's so I guess my question is like, what is your like when it comes to like your thought process of blending like an anniversary, something that's supposed to be special? What is your thought process and what is your process in blending? What goes into that process?
Well, first of all, the only anniversary cigars I've made is myself and Maximars. So that's the only two that I've made. I made a 30th anniversary, and I used tobaccos that I had used in the 19 that I had put away in the 1990s, a couple of bales, because there was a region of Honduras that made an incredible that grew an incredible tobacco, and then Hurricane Mitch came and sat on top of that area for 48 hours, and it wiped out the topsoil. So what any subsequent tobacco that was grown didn't have the characteristics. So I'd put away of those bales, and I loved that tobacco. I'd come out with a cigar in 91, 92 called Don Melo Centenario. And that cigar was phenomenal. And so that's when I wanted to make my 30th anniversary, I wanted to use tobaccos that brought me back to the origins of when I started. And that's what I blended with. With Maximar, Amar is an old and dear friend and a very knowledgeable cigar man. I mean, he's been smoking more cigars from everybody, and he knows exactly what he wants. And he was very hands-on the project, telling me, "Look, go for these aged tobaccos, do for this." And we sent him samples, and we went back and forth, and a lot of care went into that. And the cigars that I made for him, he wanted a particular style. He wanted a diadema, and that cigar is hard to roll because of the fact that it's as two narrow points. You know, the where you put it in your
Hmm.
mouth and where you light it, and so
Hmm.
we had to get it right. And I think we were successful with it. I mean, the cigar came out great, you know. But I mean, I wouldn't do an anniversary cigar for someone that I don't know, someone that I don't know that has the passion, because anniversary is a big word, you know, and it's not a
Right.
marketing tool, you know. It's a big word. I mean, for me, my 30 years was a big cornerstone in my life. You know, now I'm on my 35th year. I'm not making a 35th anniversary. I'm gonna if I live long enough, I'll make a 40th anniversary. But I mean, for me, it's sacred ground, you know. So
Yeah.
so that's my feel on it, you know.
Yeah, and I wish that that was more, across the board because it seems like more of a money, like all the limiteds and this. Some of them they just feel like a money grab because it's like, man, this isn't really that special, and you're
Yeah,
charging this for it.
it's a marketing tool basically, you know. But I think you see that across not only in the cigar industry. I mean, you see that with wines and spirits. You know,
Mhm.
everything's an
Yeah.
anniversary. You know, I mean, because you know, it one it's hard. I don't run my business. Unfortunately for me, I don't run my business as a business. I run my business more as a hobby. I'm happy with what I sell, and I'm not looking to get more shelf space. I'm not looking to become, a huge selling brand,
Hmm.
because I what I enjoy the most, I enjoy the field. I enjoy growing
Hmm.
and experimenting, and I enjoy blending, and I enjoy that. And that's where I get my rocks off. I love that, right? So as long as I can sell enough cigars to sustain that lifestyle that I have, I'm happy. So, but other people, have shareholders, they have investors, they have the bottom line. So it's a different concept. So, every to each his own. So, but you as the consumers have to see through that, and you will the moment you light up a cigar, because you'll smoke up. If you smoke someone's anniversary and you say it's not a great thing, you won't buy another one. So the test is very quick, I believe.
I think you said something very important when you said that companies have investors and they have shareholders, because I think a lot of times a lot of us realize we're like, man, if this cigar had more age on it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're starting to hear that term more and more when it comes to cigars. You're hearing, man, I smoked the first one. The first one was good, but I'm gonna let it sit for 8 months. But I feel like everybody in here feels like the moment it touches your hand, it should be ready to go. You shouldn't have to let it. You shouldn't have to let it sit in your humidor for another 8 months
Exactly,
before it goes to
exactly.
smoke.
But remember one thing, a cigar once it's made, it's static. It doesn't move. It might it won't get better because the tobacco doesn't age anymore. The
Mhm.
tobacco ages when the tobacco is in bales in leaf. Then the tobacco ages. But once the cigar is made, it doesn't metamorphose. The age doesn't really work on it. So even
Mm.
if you're smoking a cigar, what you're tasting, if you buy a cigar and it's freshly made and the tobacco's not that aged and you put it away and you try it in 8 months and the cigar is better, is the fact that the ammonia content of a of a tobacco that's not aged is dissipated over time because ammonia is a gas. So it will get out of the cigar, but the cigar in itself will not age.
Right. Wow. Wow.
Jewels right there.
Yeah, man. Oh,
Jewels right there.
I
I don't
know.
think I ever heard it put quite like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me neither. Me neither.
Yeah.
And shout out to Ben. Ben, listen, he's made a celebrity cigar for those just coming in. I know they missed out on the Frank Sinatra story, but he did make a cigar for the great, the
Blue
king,
eyes.
Mr. Frank Sinatra. So,
Oh, blue eyes.
man, you know what? Now I don't know. I know that would be. Would that ever be a blend that Would that ever be a cigar that you would revisit and possibly turn into maybe like a LE if possible, if you could do it?
Well, I can remake. Well, remember, like I said, remember that tobacco was used. We had tobaccos of the 1992, 93. So some of that tobacco I might have, but it won't be the same because the wrapper
Right.
won't be the same. It won't be that. And a that cigar was a mild to medium cigar. So, I don't know in today's market if it would be as appealing because the cigar smokers are more medium to full bodied now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. I think it would. I think it would do pretty well because I mean, just to think. I mean, how the blend because there actually are quite a few. There's a lot of guys that are still on the mild to medium type of train. They're on their mild to medium train still. So they still, every once in a while they enjoy a medium to full. But I know that's a lot of guys that are out there. I think it would do pretty well because there's a lot of people that still like. I
Hmm.
guess like I'll say because I know a couple of guys who started the way that I did because I when I first started, I was, getting into premium cigars. I was smoking heavy, heavy, heavy pepper. I needed that. I wanted that pepper. That's what I wanted. But now,
Hmm.
as I'm getting into, let's see, it's about to be what 15 years with me smoking cigars. So I
Hmm.
mean, it's a lot different for my palate now. I enjoy, I really enjoyed that medium profile with and with to kind of like, and I've had a mild cigar that I really enjoyed that I was surprised, but it's the fact that you with your palate that changes over time, you know, it comes to I come to find that I enjoy a nice mild to medium cigar every once in a while for sure.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So
Well,
I have a question. I'm sorry. Sorry about
Oh,
that,
you
Philip.
good, bro?
go ahead.
So I have a question because you say you love the process of blending. So what is your take on people
I lost him.
Yeah, I think
I
we
don't
all
know what
lost him.
I
happened.
think we
Yeah, we
lost
all
him.
lost him. He'll be back.
Okay, yeah. Till he comes back, I think we got a couple from the chat here. Okay, someone who isn't too familiar with the brand, where would you recommend to start?
In terms of a in terms of strength or in terms of or I really
That's
don't.
Zach. So
Huh?
Zach
Zach,
is
yeah.
more. Zach is more of the like he likes that mild to medium profile.
Well,
He doesn't.
I would start with the Pelo de Oro then.
Oh man, the Pelo de Oro that's a fantastic cigar. For those who have not
It's
smoked
great
that cigar
tobacco.
yet, that is a good cigar.
Pelo de Oro, and then Refusion, and then you work your way up, to the
Mm-hmm.
Felipe Classic, and then the others. So
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I was speaking about how you say how you love making cigars and blending cigars. So what's your take on people that use stems in their cigars? Because a lot of times when people get stems in their cigars, they pull them out. But I also heard that some people say that a lot of flavor is in the stems, is in the stems.
no, if there's a stem in the cigar, the guys aren't making the cigars well.
Yeah.
The stem
Ooh.
the stem,
Yeah.
the when the roller gets it, the roller when he gets that, and he has to take out that stem. What happens is that the
Hmm.
stem will burn at a different combustion
Yes.
rate than the rest of the cigar, so it will mess up the smoke of the cigar. The stem has a lot of minerals in it that's not in the leaf, because it's hard. So definitely, don't listen to that. There's a stem in there.
I'll, yeah,
Go to somebody else.
I'll tell you guys after the show where I heard that
Okay.
Look, there go Matt. Matt said, "I see where this is going. I see where you're
Yeah.
going with
Yeah.
that." Oh
at.
man. Oh man. That's that. Yeah. Now, okay. So, could you tell us? Could you tell us the story of how you came up with the name Octopussy? Because
Okay.
listen, now we got one T Matt in here, and Matt was like, "Octopus, is that a real cigar?" I know he was joking because he knows it's a real cigar. He's like,
Yeah.
Octopussy, because it made our cigars of the year list. And he
Okay.
was like, "That's a real cigar."
I,
So
I
now a lot of people want to know. So could
okay.
you please tell us how you came up with the name
It,
It
it's a
Octopus?
is real.
it's a take on James
Real.
Bond. I came out 2 years ago with a cigar called Pussy Galore, and
Wow.
then I made that was a torpedo, and then I made it for a group of like a cigar club of 100 members. It was called the Cien Fundadores, and I made it for them, and then everyone loved it, and then a small batch carried it, and other people started carrying it, and it was like a limited run. But then I said, I'm going to continue on that line, and the next one is Octopussy. And then in a couple of years, I'll come out another one. I'll make maybe a Goldfinger or a Dr. No or something like that.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
how it is.
That's
So,
awesome,
Okay.
man.
so
Wait,
who's
wait.
your favorite Bond? Real quick. So I said, because he said James Bond with the octopus. So who's your favorite Bond?
Yeah.
Well, without doubt, because of my age, Sean Connery, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look,
He said for me, he's the only
Yeah.
Bond that matters. I'm sorry.
no, I'm I'm a Pierce Bronson guy. That was my guy.
No.
Brosnan.
Yeah,
Sean
man.
Connery all day, man. I'm sorry, man. They never made a better Bond than Sean Connery. Sorry.
Hey man, listen. I didn't have the luxury of watching the older James Bonds. Now I grew up on the one where Halle
Oh
Berry
man,
was in it.
you know what you missing.
I listen. Only one I remember the one where Halle Berry was in it, and I saw Halle Berry, and I was
Did you remember?
blown.
Yeah, I think that messed a lot of people up right there.
I'm sorry,
Hey
man.
man, that really got me. That got me.
No
And I mean, you
Bond.
know
Yeah.
me, I'm a young kid, so I'm like, and I
Yeah.
know I love Halle Berry. I'm like, hey,
What was Holly Berry's character? Because Octopussy was a girl, and Pussy Galore was a girl in Goldfinger, and
yeah,
Octopussy was in another one. What was Holly Berry called?
I
You
can't even
remember?
remember.
I can't even remember.
Well,
I
that
just know
maybe
she got out the ocean.
She wasn't. Yeah, she wasn't Money Penny, was she?
No. I don't think she
No.
was Moneypenny.
No, Money Penny was the secretary. That wasn't her. I'll
Who
look
was
into it.
she? Who was
Yeah, we
she?
have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
definitely got to look
Her
her up.
name was
IMDb.
Domino.
Oh,
Was
yeah,
it Domino?
Yeah,
Domino.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
There you are. So wait for a domino. Maybe that'll be coming soon.
Oh, hey,
There we go.
yes. Oh
Yeah,
man.
the
So
aphrodisiac one. So, what was the thought behind that? So
Yeah.
I know
Okay.
it was like supposed to be, but it went so damn fast. They only got like a single of it, and I couldn't get any more.
Okay, it's coming back in February. Aphrodisiac was a great success. The concept behind Aphrodisiac, there is a tree that's inherent to the Caribbean, and it's called
Mhm.
bois bondé. It means basically in French, it means hard on wood. And the Haitians, the Dominicans, other parts of the Caribbean, they use that bark, and it has aphrodisiac properties. They would mix it with spirits, or they would boil it in teas. So what I did is I took tobacco and I aged it with aphrodisiac, that that tree bark, so it got the
Nice.
flavor of that. And then I brought that out just to make something different that had a different flavor profile. And I called it aphrodisiac because of the aphrodisiac qualities of that tree. Now, whether or not you get a hard on when you smoke it, I don't know. I'm
I got
sure if
one
Halle,
question.
I'm sure if Halle Berry was there, you would, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
I got one question for you.
Okay.
So now, what is your favorite cigar movie? When you get a cigar and you want to watch it and you want to watch one of your old school movies, what's your go to?
Ooh, ooh, damn. I have to think about that one. My favorite. That's hard, man. Hard, man. You got me. You stumbled me. There's so many good movies out there. Eh,
Well,
I'll tell you mine. Like I'll
uh-huh.
tell you mine. Major Pain.
Major Pain was good. You know what movie I loved as a kid? Do you remember? Now, yeah, now you guys probably remember. They used to always show on Channel 11. Now these guys were in the military, and they bet this one guy to eat 50 eggs, and at the end they knocked on his stomach, and they were like hard as a rock.
I don't remember that one.
I'm trying to remember.
Mm,
It was a movie from the 50s and 60s,
Oh, okay.
Hey, you
and it,
got
and
me,
it,
bruh.
You got
You
and
got
it
that one.
me.
featured
yeah.
and it featured. I'm trying to remember the actor's name. Man, all right, it'll come back to me, man. But as a kid, like I would just sit every time the movie came on, I would sit there and watch it.
Oh,
Yeah.
El Boogie said he said 18.
Everything,
Mr.
All
T.
right.
Okay.
Hannibal. Hannibal. Yeah, he always had a
Hannibal.
cigar in his mouth.
Hannibal always had one.
My neighbor is he makes cigar accessories and stuff like that, and he's always his favorite movie to watch while he smokes cigars is Grease. Don't know
Mm,
why,
wow.
but
Grease.
but I mean, hey, listen, I'm not mad at him. I know when I hear when I hear him saying, like, because he quotes the movie, he's one of those guys. He quotes the movie while the movie is going. So he just, he watches it, like he watches it faithfully, and he always watches it outside in his tent, and he's always smoking cigars, and so he loves that. That's his cigar movie is Grease.
Now I'm thinking about it. I probably like some of those old spaghetti western with Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
The Good, the
Ah,
Bad, the Ugly,
Okay.
and all of that.
Oh yeah.
old Clint. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I want. You know
I didn't
what?
think about that. Clint.
Wasn't he smoking something in
Yeah,
those
he
movies
smoked
too?
like a
Oh
cigarillo in all of those
Yeah,
films.
like a cigarillo. I
yeah.
wonder.
Mhm.
I wonder who made those cigarillos of his. I know he had it made. I know he did, man. I know he did. I just wonder who made it. I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna see if you can actually find information on it. That's. But yeah.
Man, that right there reminds me of my grandfather. Man, my grandfather would sit there and watch never westerns.
Mhm.
It'd be on the
Yeah.
Western Channel. It didn't matter if it was black and white. It didn't matter if it was in color. And
Yeah.
he'd go, boy, don't you better not turn my westerns.
Not at all. Yeah, my dad is the
Yeah.
same way.
Yeah.
Loves
My
some
dad used to
Western,
watch
man.
Bonanza all the time, man. Bonanza.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You better not turn my westerns.
Yeah,
And my dad
Darshan.
is his favorite was the man with the rifle. I think that was the actual name of the show, the man with the rifle. But he
Okay.
was real Rifleman. Rifleman, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know my great aunt, her husband, we called him Mr. Kid, and Mr. Kid was a old English drinker, and he liked drinking the silver bullets, those silver bulls. He loved drinking those, and he would smoke. I don't remember the cigar he would smoke, but he would smoke cigars. But for the longest time, because he had no teeth, okay, he had no teeth, but he can still. For some odd reason, I never seen anyone bite a burger just as clean like he did have teeth, but he had no teeth, no, like absolutely none. As a matter of fact, when he would call me, he would say Lil Fred, not Lil Fred. It was Lil Fred. And so for the longest time, what he would watch every time he'll get out his silver. I knew what time it was because he would get his cigar out, get a silver bullet, and he'll have Old English, and he'll sit down and he'll turn on the TV. And for the longest time, I said, "What is this that you're watching?" And so it was Chuck Norris, but I thought the show, for the longest time as a kid, I thought it was called Truck Noise because he had no teeth. He had no teeth. So my dad will always ask me, "Son, what'd you do with Mr. Kid?" I'm like, "Oh, we watched Truck Noise." He said, "What the hell is Truck Noise?" And so one day, like, I thought that was the name of the show until I was at least like 10 or 11 years old. And my dad finally told me, "Son, it's called Chuck Norris." I said, "Well, he said Truck Noise." So I thought that's what it was called, Truck Noise. And so he's like, "No, dude, it's Chuck Norris." I said, "Oh, well, I don't like it now because it's not Truck Noise." Because I was so used to being called Truck Noise. That's what I thought it was. But
That's
yeah,
right.
that he would love watching that show and smoking a cigar and drinking a silver bullet.
But you see how great cigars are because they bring back all your memories, right? And it's always
Oh
with a
yeah.
cigar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And-
Every time I said, "Man, Mr. Kid, what are we watching?" Truck Noise. Okay, Truck
Chuck
Noise. Okay.
Noise.
Truck Noise. Okay, we're watching Truck Noise. That's what we're doing. We're watching Truck Noise. My granddad used to smoke cigars, but threw me off because he chewed on the end of it so bad. In my first cigar, I thought that was what you were supposed to do. Oh
man, that's
I think
great.
that's some people. That's like
Well,
a real thing. Like I was watching. Forgot what they're solder or like. There's two English guys. They smoke cigars and they do reviews. And the one like the bigger, heavier set guy, like he literally chews the cigar. I'm just like, man, can you really get like a quick draw? Like after you chew it, like it's chewed the shit. So I'm just like, damn, how can you draw after that?
So something I heard was back in the day. So back in like between the 30s and the 60s, that cigars, they weren't aged, so they were all green. So they would get it from Cuba, and so they would basically be Candela cigars. So they
Exactly.
were
Yeah,
so
that was
they didn't have that
in
stuff.
the 1960s, the 50s and 60s. The number one selling cigars in the United States were Candela, but with Candela wrapper green, and that's what everyone smoked.
And they said that back then they would chew it because the Candela was so sweet back
Uh huh.
then that people will be able to chew their cigars.
Right.
So they said people back in the day it would go, the cigar would go from back to front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had an uncle that drove trucks, man, and he never smoked cigars, but he always chewed them. That
Yeah.
was his thing. Like he chewed them. He'd get him a fresh one, get in the truck, ride. He was always chewing on a cigar.
yeah.
Because when you chew it, it was very popular. Even when I started making cigars in the 90s, there was the older gentlemen that were buying then were buying, they were buying inexpensive bundled products because they were chewing them. Because what happens is when you chew it, you get the nicotine. You ingest the nicotine. So it stops it gives you energy. It stops your appetite control, and it becomes addictive. And but it's a completely different concept of because they don't taste anything. You know, they just getting the juice of the tobacco. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question. My question to you is this: what cigar, which Felipe Gregorio cigar best represents your brand right now?
Huh. I would have to say the I would say it would be the classic Felipe Gregorio Blue, probably the Robusto, and then the Pelo de Oro because I'm the only one that's really doing the Pelo de Oro. So
Mm-hmm.
those are the two. But again, you know, right in this moment, I think the two best cigars that I'm seeing out there are Octopus and Aphrodisiac, and that they're just phenomenal tasting cigars that I made. So. But they're going to be all of those are limited, so when they're gone, they're gone. So
Yeah.
those two are I hold very high and very dear to me.
Now, okay,
Mm.
so I for those who don't know, because they've heard me talk about how I first smoked your cigar back in 2014. I told we had this conversation on the phone, and it was the Maximo Ligero.
Hmm.
And so, for those who don't know about that cigar, could you please, could you please explain how you came up with the Maximo Ligero and what the cigar was?
Okay, Maximil O'Hara. I wanted the consumer. I wanted you guys to be able to taste tobacco in its purest form, leaf tobacco. So I made a cigar that looked like a shotgun. One bore was all Allure tobacco from the Dominican Republic, and the other cigar that was joined to it was all tobacco from Nicaragua. When you smoked it, uh, they were both cut at the end, and it was ended up in a torpedo form, a torpedo tip. Both smoke that was drawn through those two bores would come in your mouth and mix in your mouth, and you could be able to discern the different taste profiles of each type of variety of tobacco. That was the concept behind
Wow.
it.
Which
Nice.
is such a different concept because you don't see anything like that, especially now. And I think that, well, I mean, for me, that was my favorite. That was my favorite cigar from you. And of course, now it's, until I've had the other cigars. Now I'm like, oh, now I love all of them because I haven't had a bad experience with your cigars. And that's like, I'm being so honest because like that's one thing. That's one thing that we for sure we're super honest. So if we don't like your shit, we'll tell you we don't like your shit, or it's just not for me. But
Mhm.
I can honestly say I've never had a bad experience with any of your cigars that I've had,
Thank you,
and
thank
in
you.
no problem. And like so, the Maximo Ligero was that was my first cigar, and now since I've fallen in love with the Octopussy, I have to be careful when I say that around my wife, so you know, make sure. Hey, listen, it's a cigar. I had listen. She heard me talking about that one day, and she looked at me and said, "What the hell are you talking about?" I said, "Look, it's a cigar, Octopussy. That's what it's called." She's like, "Oh."
Mhm.
She's like, "Oh, that's a funny ass name for a cigar." Like, listen, I didn't come up with it. Okay, it's not me. But but
It's
yeah,
right there on the band.
right. It's right on the band, baby. It's right on
Exactly.
the band. But yeah, man, I think I truly think your brand, of course. Well, I've been hip to it for a long time, but I'm so glad that a lot of people are now starting to really see, because it's like you. I mean, and I love one thing I love about you. You're not big into the spotlight, trying to be that. That, oh well, I want to be in the spotlight, that spotlight brand where everybody can be like, hey, listen, I'm here. My cigars are here. They've always been here. Try it. If you like it, cool. Hey, I'm not pressing for it. I'm not, no pressure. And that's one thing that I love about you as a person. You're not that guy to be want to be everywhere at one time. Like, hey, see me, see my cigars. You want it? Hey, listen, you're that guy. Like, try my cigars. If you like
Mm-hmm.
it, that's cool. I'm sitting back, I'm chilling, because I still have Frank Sinatra cigars that are in my vault that I still smoke on an everyday basis. So I'm good.
So
Yeah.
I have one question for you. So you spoke about you doing this as a hobby. So when you're not focusing on cigars and rolling stuff like that, what do you do to get away and kind of reset yourself?
Oh no, man, that's it. The when I, where I'm in heaven is when I'm in a tobacco field.
Okay.
Because there you're that's for me, I'm the closest to God or to the creator, to whatever you believe in, because it's just mystical. You see that little seed grow into that, and you're in that sea of green, and those leaves are rustling in the breeze, and it's just that's my reset. you know that's my
Mhm.
reset.
So now, kind of like now saying that when you're there and you put your passion and your knowledge into this cigar, you put your heart into it, and it goes out to that consumer. What do you want them to feel, and recognize when they fire up a Felipe Gregorio cigar?
Well, take away Felipe Gregorio. What I want the consumer to feel is is to really be appreciated of the amount of hands that your cigar has touched before you smoked it, and hands that you don't even know, from the guy that's putting the tobacco into the field from the seed banks, to the guy that primes it, to the guy that sows it and puts it in the tobacco barn, to the guy that ferments the bales, to the guy that takes it out and puts it in bales. It goes through so many hands, and all of these people are passionate, and all of these people are unknown heroes. I'm at the end, so you see me and you say, okay, he's a great blender or he's a shitty blender. He makes cigar, but it's not me. I'm just the tip of the iceberg, because that's what I want people to realize, that there's a lot of lives that go into every one of those cigars. And if you would gather their essence and take their stories, you're smoking history, because each one has a story. Each guy's been doing that same job for the last 30 years. His hands are gnarled. He has more knowledge of tobacco than I ever would. So that's what I want the consumer to feel. It's hard for me to express that, but that's what I feel very passionate about.
Oh, that's awesome. And
Understood.
I mean, just hearing you answer that question, you can hear the passion in your voice, because it's a lot of people that 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 tends to be overlooked about. That they tend to go to the face of the brand, the owner of the brand, and they
Hmm.
don't really pay attention to what goes into creating that. How many hands that cigar has touched.
Yeah,
Just that one single cigar that you're smoking. So many people have put their passion into that cigar. And
exactly.
so, yeah, yeah, I definitely hear that passion. So,
Hmm.
Zach had a question. He said, "How many cigars do you have a day?"
Okay,
Um,
it depends. If I'm working, if I'm at the factory, my first cigar and the cigar that is the first cigar of the morning. I smoke very early because your palate is clean. So I'll try the blend of the day before of the cigar that I had rolled, and then that'll be my first cigar. Then I will mid morning. I'll have a coffee, I'll clean my palate, and I'll start another one. So in the factory, I'll smoke three cigars a day probably. And then I don't smoke at night when I'm in the factory. When
mhm.
I'm out of the factory, it's different. I like to smoke in the afternoons or in the evenings. So I'll
Okay.
smoke one or two cigars.
That's
So I,
that's that's interesting.
no, so when you're not rolling or blending your own stuff, like and you're not at the factory, what do you enjoy smoking?
I mean, you mean not my cigars? You mean, or
Yeah, not
just
not 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 your cigars.
Well, I like trying everyone's, I like trying, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, there's outstanding factory owners and brand owners like Ernesto Carrillo. He's passionate, and everyone has their
I love you.
signature. You can tell their signature. Lito Gomez, the Padrones, Fuente. They all of their cigars have their signature. So I like smoking. I like trying them all, because they all are different, and I enjoy that. But I don't smoke them that often,
Okay.
because I have to keep the blinders on and smoke my product. But I do enjoy them a lot.
Okay.
And I respect that for sure. Because I mean, it's a lot
Hmm.
of people like for I mean we've heard some guys say. I mean, of course, no shot at them because it is what it is. But they're like, hey man, what other cigars do you enjoy smoking? Oh, mine, just mine. That's it. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's
It's
I
a
mean
it,
that's
you
no
know
fucking
it,
fun.
it's a learning process, right? So
Hmm.
you wanna be able to know what. I mean, you have to enjoy it. It's no longer about selling. One has to really divide that. One thing is selling and marketing, and you can sell anything: cars, cigars, whatever you want. But that's you take the romance and you take the passion out of it. But
Mhm.
if any cigar manufacturer that is worth his while will tell you he smokes other people's cigars. Of course. You want to know what it's like. I mean, if
Yeah,
you're a chef in a restaurant, you're not going to eat anyone else's food. You know what?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. So
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what was the definitive moment for you, Philip? Like when you knew that, my brand has traction, I got this out to the people, they're experiencing my passion and they're understanding what I want them to, feel from a cigar. I know it's out there now. The feedback. Like what was your definitive moment when you knew that?
probably in the mid 90s. Well, I mean, I won't. Sinatra was a definitive moment because it put me on the map.
Right.
Hmm.
And I owe a lot to him. I mean, he was a gentleman in the sense that when we made his cigar, he says, "Put your name on the box." I mean, this just shows you the greatness of the type of person he didn't need to
Yeah.
do that. So it was
Right.
Sinatra by Felipe Gregorio. So my name came out thanks to that. So I think that's probably my definitive moment.
Now, was Frank Sinatra a tall guy?
No, no, it's about 5'8".
Mhm.
Was it? I heard it was a story. It was I can't remember the guy's name, but he he said that he hung out with Frank Sinatra. And it was, of course, this was a while back when he did this interview. I don't know if he's still living now, but he said that Frank Sinatra's hands were huge. He said that he could fit a quarter fit a quarter through one of his rings. That's how big his hands were. So I don't know. I'm like I never paid it. Listen, and it was funny to me because I never paid attention to another man's hands
No,
that way.
honestly, I didn't notice that. I mean, the ring, his cigar ring was actually a copy of his signet ring. He wore a ring on his pinky, and that had a lion on it, and that's the ring we used on the cigar. We wanted to use that.
Okay.
But I mean, I
Wow.
can't tell you about his hands. I can tell you that he had a couple of idiosyncrasies. He loved orange, so he used to wear orange clothes. I mean, when he was not performing. So he'd wear an orange shirt or an orange jacket. He loved that. He loved that color. And the other thing is that he always ate the same. With me, we would go to restaurants, but he'd bring his chef, and he would always eat the same thing. He'd eat pesto pasta. That's what he loved because his mother was from Genoa.
Oh wow.
So
Hey, listen, a good pesto can't be
yeah,
mad at a good
yeah.
pesto.
And I remember once when one of the meetings with the guys from Southern Wine and Spirits, we had all the directors there, the owner of the company, and that company, by the way, was created by Meyer Lansky. So you can see that there was a kind of connection there with
Hmm.
Sinatra. I don't know if you guys know who Meyer Lansky was, but he was like involved in all the mob in Cuba and all of
Yeah.
that. And
Hmm.
so he created Southern Wine and Spirits. So we were sitting there, and Sinatra, asked, we're in a restaurant, but this cook would he'd go into the kitchen and make his own food, and he says, only Philip and I are eating the pesto. You guys order what you want. Because I was Sicilian, so I mean, he said, I'm not going to waste it on you guys, you don't know
No.
how to treat it.
Oh
But
man.
to tell you, I'll tell you another story about him, just to show you what type of guy he was. The only time the FBI could have gotten him is that there was a nightclub that was owned in Reno, Nevada, where him and what's the name of the guy, the famous mafia guy, John. I'll think of it in
Not
a
it's not
second.
it's not it's not
Gambino.
it's what
Gambino.
oh, yeah.
Him and Gambino were the owners, and they came in and they went to the books, and the guy that was the manager of the restaurant was this young guy by the name of Elliot Weissman, and he took the rap. He said, "No, it's me. It's nothing. Sinatra doesn't have anything to do with me." And they put him in jail for money laundering and all that, and he went to jail for like 5 or 6 years. When he came out of jail, there was a limo waiting for him outside, and Sinatra was there, picked him up, and he said, "From now on, I know what you did for me. I appreciate it. From now on, you are my executive producer on everything I make." And that guy,
Nice.
till the day he died, he was one of the coffin bearer, one of the pallbearers at his funeral.
Wow.
So he was very loyal, and very very humble in many ways, and he was a no nonsense guy. I mean, he was a scary guy in that sense, but he had a huge heart, So it was just a unique personality, So it's hard to
Yeah.
describe.
Yeah, I heard that some people were scared of him.
Well, just look at his stories, back in the day, how he defended Sammy Davis, it was
Yeah.
incredible, He went out
Yeah.
all the way, and Sammy was his friend, and don't touch him, don't mess with that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he had a very high standard, and he wouldn't be scared to put his name on the line for that.
Yeah. Man, that is awesome. Guys, if you have any more questions that you want to ask him, please drop your questions in the comment section. Now
Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, now, I was gonna ask him a quick. What's your favorite Sinatra song?
Eh,
Mine is New York, New York. But
yeah,
I'm a little biased.
I like Fly Me to the Moon.
Fly me to the
Fly
moon.
you to the moon. Yeah.
Now, so as a kid, I had a parrot. His name was Hector, and so my stepdad would go, and he'll go watch this, and he would sing My Way, and the parrot would go and sing. And the parrot would sing, I did it my way.
As a matter of fact, that was like you had a cigar named My Way.
Yeah,
as well.
that was
the cigar, right?
right. It was we first made the Sinatra, which came in 3 sizes, and then we made a torpedo called My Way.
My Way, yeah.
Okay.
Man, oh man, that's. I mean, that'll be. I think that's such an iconic thing. Like it's just that's a monumental like milestone. That you've been able to work with a legend like that. I wonder. So Sammy did Sammy ever wanna make a cigar?
No, I never had the honor of meeting him, so I no. I did. There were a few other guys that approached me. I made Andy or the guys that claimed that they were working for Andy Warhol wanted to make a cigar. I made a cigar for Bruce Lee, but not Bruce Lee. Sorry, for Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan.
But I made it was only for him personally, and it wasn't a brand. So I made cigars for him, and he would give them out to his friend, and it'd have his signature on them. So
that's crazy. I didn't even know Jackie Chan was a cigar smoker. I've never seen him.
I don't know if he was. I really don't know if it was. I do know that he contacted me, and I talked to him twice, but I dealt with his people that worked for him, and he ordered cigars. This was in the early 2000s, and we made cigars for him, and we sent them to Hong Kong, and he would give them out.
Wow, that is cool.
Was it for like rush hour or something like that?
Yeah. Oh man, That's crazy. So
Yeah.
are you into pairings at all?
Yes, I am.
What is your favorite pairing?
I like sweet wines with cigars.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
I like
sweet
that.
wines.
That's
Okay,
Like a nice port.
Sweet reds.
Yeah, I like. Well,
Uh-huh.
they're called Sauternes. It's actually a white wine from
Mhm.
France, but the Italians make some, and other people, the Hungarians. It's a sweet white wine. I just think that the sweetness goes very well with the cigar, and then otherwise another one I enjoy rums. I jumps just a single
uh,
rum with the cigar, mainly
yeah.
Dominican or Nicaraguan rums.
What's your favorite Dominican rum?
It's Leyenda. It's called Legend Leyenda.
Mm.
I think I've heard of that before.
Yeah, it's a
I
great
think
one.
I've heard of that. It's called Legend, right?
Right.
I
I
think
like
I
the Don Bartolo. The so that's where I go to. I go to Dominican rum. I don't drink. What's the other one? What's the
what
name on this word?
Zacapa.
No, the Zacapa is Colombian.
You
It
know,
is
Guatemalan.
Yeah. Oh,
Guatemala.
Guatemala. Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
Because I've heard I haven't had the Zacapa, but I've heard some
Oh,
people enjoy it.
it's amazing.
I
Amazing.
heard it's pretty damn good. I said I want to get some.
It's very good. It's very.
I like
It's
that,
sweet.
and I like
It's sweeter than
yeah,
the Dominican rums. It's very good.
and I like that, and I think it's called a Diplomat.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
that's from
diplomat.
Venezuela.
Yeah.
That's very
Uh-huh.
good.
Yeah,
Very good. Yeah.
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 Any good dark rum is, really remember that the sugar cane and tobacco grow in the same area. So there's a lot of, symbiosis between what goes into, it's the same earth. So that's why rums pair so well with cigars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go back to the business side of it. So you've been again. I'll say this again for those who don't know. You've been in the game for 35 years. So what has been one of the biggest challenges you faced um, as a cigar brand owner?
A biggest challenges, well, the number one challenge is the government, coming up with all the taxes and
Yeah.
all of that bullshit that we had to deal with, like we're public enemy number one, the cigar makers.
Right.
That's the biggest challenge, and it's an unfair challenge because in the end it's the consumer that's paying it, right? Because
Right.
I have to add on that, so that's my biggest challenge in that sense. And it's not only the United States, every country has that, so it's not something specific to the United States. In the United States, the difference is that you have the federal government and then you have every state that's putting their tax on it, which in Europe or other countries it's just the federal tax that comes in, and you don't have to worry about that. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's very unfair for the cigar smokers in California compared to the ones in Florida, because they're, it's like a $4
Yeah.
difference on a stick, for
Mm-hmm.
what, so that I think is a challenge. And the other challenge is, and I shouldn't be saying this, but I'll say it since we're amongst friends, the ignorance of many of the cigar retailers, that are maybe, there are a lot of great retailers that love their product, like Amar. I mean, that really know their stuff. But there's a lot of retailers that invested in cigar shops because they think they're going to make money, and they put a kid behind the counter who knows
Mm-hmm.
nothing about
Knows
cigars,
nothing. Yeah.
and
Yep.
he'll
See that
buy
a lot.
and he'll buy the cigars where he gets the best deal on, or where they'll give him so many free ashtrays or free lighters. So those people, I believe, do a disservice to the industry. But just a pet peeve of mine. It's not, going back to it's the taxes.
Mm.
Okay. So kind of speaking on, like you said, like a disservice to the industry. I want to ask, because people ask a lot, like what kind of advice would you have in 35 years in the game dealing with the industry? What kind of advice do you have for somebody that's trying to start a brand? And I
To
ask this
start a brand,
because
ooh,
I ask
that's
this
a
because a lot of times, before you answer real quick, a lot of times people answer that, I feel like, the wrong way, because they say don't do it. And I don't feel like that's an answer that promotes the culture or adds to the culture in any type of way. And I hate to hear people say that. So with your knowledge and time in the game, what do you say to that?
Okay, it depends on who's starting the brand. If you're starting the brand because you love the cigars and you are proud of what you're doing and you want people to emulate or you want to pass on your knowledge, I say go for it. But always go for it as a hobby first. You're not going to make money with it in the beginning, but go for it because you're actually putting your DNA in that cigar. And I think that's something great because it's a legacy for you or whoever wants to create a brand. But if you want to do it just because you think you're going to make a few bucks and you have some gimmicky idea and you have no idea of what goes into making a cigar and you haven't done your research and you haven't spent the time, then I'm saying don't do it.
Awesome.
Now that right there, I can get with. I can get with.
Yeah, I can get with that.
I can definitely get with that.
Now,
Yeah.
you guys are all friends, right? So all of you, if one of you wants to make a hobby and make a private brand because you like these type of tobaccos, you're doing a service to your friends because you're blending something in your image, and your friends are buying it because they respect you and they respect your palate and they respect your persona. And that what's happening is that the cigar industry is gaining from that because you're giving work to us, and
Right.
that's a great thing. But what I'm that's what I'm saying. It's more of a hobby because you might be lucky and you might make money on it, but don't think that you're gonna bet the bank on it because you're
Right.
not.
Now, so I want to ask you, what is your favorite Vitola in a cigar?
What's your favorite what?
Your favorite Vitola?
Oh, probably a robusto. I blend with I like to smoke a robusto, but when we blend, we always blend with like a 46 ring gauge, because um, the like I said, there's 6 leaves in a cigar. So in the 46, the ring gauge is small enough so that there's equal distribution between every leaf, the filler, the wrapper, and the binder. So I can taste all of those tobaccos. Because the bigger the ring gauge, the more air you bring into the cigar, the more filler you have. So you won't necessarily taste the binder or the wrapper, and you're
Right.
bringing in more smoke. So to blend, it's a 46. To smoke personally, nothing bigger than a 52.
Hmm. Okay, so that brings me to another question I always want to ask you, and I because I say this because this is my favorite technique when in cigar making is the Cuban 109 style. I love the Cuban 109. I want to know, what is your thoughts on the Cuban 109 style?
In what sense?
And like in just making in for knowing that you make cigars,
Uh-huh.
have what do you think about that? Is it easier to work with for you, or is it something that that could possibly something that could be in your repertoire? Oh, did we lose him?
Um, StreamYard, man. StreamYard is the worst.
What happened?
Sure, I think we might have lost him.
I think we might have lost him.
Oh, there
Oh,
he is.
there he is.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear us, Philip?
I don't know if he can hear us.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
And now we can
Oh
hear
yeah.
him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, now I got you.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I don't know what happened.
Oh, I don't know either.
Okay.
It's
Um.
okay.
Okay. No, but 109, you mean about the size or what? I
Yeah,
don't
the
know what you.
size.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
the size.
No, it's a classic.
Is it so? Have you ever? Is that something that could be possibly that is something that you will work with in the future?
If there's a market for it, remember that that's a cigar that is kind of particular. So I have to, the business side of me, I have to make sizes that people want. You know what I'm
Yeah, people.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Well, that's fine. I have to see how much it is for get a personal stash of 109. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that because yeah, that definitely works. But guys, y'all have any more questions y'all want to ask them before? Because I mean, we still got some time left. We got about 20 more minutes left before we end the
Yeah.
show.
Got a question. This so for like upcoming releases, like what should we be looking forward to besides the Octopussy and the Aphrodisiac that's coming in February? Anything on the
um,
horizon?
yeah, I have a cigar that I have a line of cigars that I call Reserva del Patron, which means the owner's reserve. And but I have a cigar it's a Dahlia size, which is like it's a 6 by 40. It's like a thin cigar that will be coming out. But I mean that's because I like that ring gauge. I smoke that a lot myself. And then next year I'll be putting out something else in the works. But right now I'm still in the process of figuring out which tobaccos to use and all that. So for right now it's the Octopussy. And I do have one, but again, I'm making a cigar for the European and the Middle East market. Which, do you guys know what a Toscano is?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Toscana.
one of the small
Yes.
ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
A
Mhm.
stogie. Yeah, I'm making like an Italian type Toscano. It's called a Magnifico, but made with 7-year-old all aged Olor San Victor tobacco, which is great. But it's a small cigar, and that's coming
Okay.
out next year. This year, I'm sorry, this year.
This year. Oh, that'll
Mhm.
be awesome. Damn. Wait, so you can't bring that to the American market?
Yeah, I'll bring it in. I'll bring it in. I'll bring it in. When I
Yes.
have some, I'll bring it in, and I'll see if Amar will take it. If not, I'll let you know, and I'll send you some.
Thank you so much. We
Absolutely.
appreciate that because I mean,
Love
I
it.
mean, and this is coming from me and I'm sure everybody that have smoked your cigars can attest to what I'm about to say. Your cigars are fantastic, and you can definitely taste the passion that you put
Hmm.
into to each blend, and all they're all different. They're all different. And they all have their own personality, and it's super super wonderful to have to have you on. This is like to me this is my dream interview because of the fact that I said it back in 2014 that I was like I gotta reach this guy and talk to this man because I love this Maximo Lajero. But the fact that I've finally had a chance to smoke more of your cigars and really dive into the brand for what it is, and it's I haven't had a bad experience. You guys can y'all attest to what I'm saying. I haven't had a bad experience with this.
Absolutely. Absolutely,
Yeah.
man.
Actually, I
Everything's
have
been
been.
Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I mean,
yeah.
it, you know, they always ask me, "What's your favorite cigar?" And the favorite cigar is the one that you like, right? So
Yeah.
you might like something different from me and from your friends. So, but one needs to try everything because this way you can kind of make a foundation of what you like, and then you know where to go. So I don't think that anyone should smoke one brand all the time because you're missing out. So that's
Hmm.
that's personal. It's like I won't drink the same wine all the time. I'll try different wines. But I think I'd love to be one of your go-to cigars always, because
Yeah.
that there's love and passion behind it.
Yes it
Absolutely.
is. Yes it is. You good over there, bro?
Now just getting another cigar. That's all.
Okay.
Okay.
We got to check on man. We got to check on our boy, man.
Yeah,
Yep.
whatever. I'm good, man. I'm just having a mistake. That's all.
Yeah. So
And my
Philip,
phone, my phone died, man. So I had to put on the charger.
No, it's all good, bro.
yeah, Philip, I always ask the question, about legacy. I know you say you do it as a hobby, and you've been around for a long time. When it's all said and done, what do you want people to remember you by in
Oh,
the industry?
they don't need to remember me. I just, I want them to keep on smoking and enjoying. We'll end up like the ash of our cigars. So, there's really no legacy, I think. I mean, it would be, I'm not into ego, so I don't think that I don't really like to take that question. I
Yeah.
just while I'm here, if I can bring you pleasure, that while I'm alive and that you like my cigars, it's the now that counts. I don't believe in a legacy. My son, I have a son and two daughters, and my son's in the military, and he decided to go his way, and I'm very proud of him, and he decided not to go into this, not to follow my footsteps. I didn't follow my father's footsteps. So we all have to find what floats our boat. And this for
Yeah,
me has been an amazing ride, and I've learned a lot. And not only I continue to learn, I've met people from different cultures, from different religions, from different parts of the world, and I see that a cigar is the most unifying thing in the world, because the moment that we sit down and smoke, we forget all our differences. We're
Mhm.
enjoying this, and I'm
Yeah,
I'm blessed to be in this business, and I'm very happy with that. And for me, that's legacy enough.
that's it. Outstanding answer. That was an
now Philip.
Yeah,
outstanding
this
answer.
is the great equalizer, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It
Oh,
is.
Philip, your ex Air Force, correct?
No, 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 no. Me?
Oh,
No.
yeah. Okay.
No. My dad was Army. My son's Army.
Okay.
My son is was is he's a ranger, and he's a
Wow.
captain, and he's a captain in reserve. He was deployed in Afghanistan, and now he works for our Department of Defense, or now they call it the Department of War. He's the joint SOCOR Europe, which is Special Forces Operations in Europe. So he works there, and he loves it. I mean, that's his career. So.
God bless.
Yeah. And my dad was in World War II, was in the Battle of the Bulge, and he was a colonel in the end. And I actually worked in the government for 10 years, but not in the military.
Yeah, I retired from the Navy in 2021. So yeah, so it's for your service.
Yep, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, oh, well, we've reached that point of the show, and one thing we're really big on this show is men's mental health, and so we always ask our guests how they're doing, and well, we always ask each other as well. But I want to start with you, Philip. We always ask how are you doing mentally, physically, and emotionally. So I want to ask, how are you doing mentally, physically, and emotionally?
Well, mentally, it's always a struggle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because life is never, every day is something new, and so you have to adapt to it. And I think the biggest enemy that one has mentally is oneself. And you have to be able to deal with that. Physically, it's been 4 years now. I had a quadruple bypass, and I'm doing well. I'm healthy. And emotionally, it's
That's a
ups and
blessing.
downs. It's hard. It's hard. I find it very hard to let go and relax.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal problem, and I also am not. I would hate to use the word vindictive, but I carry with me, if someone did me something wrong 20 years ago, I still remember it, and I hate myself for that, when I should
Yeah.
forgive. So it's a constant struggle that I work with on that, and I'm trying to better myself on that. My wife my wife is completely different. You know, she has an outlook that's much more positive, and I admire her for that. But as much as I try, I can't. You know, and I am a grumpy old man now. You know, and the things that piss me off. So and
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
hard time. I have a hard time reacting to that, you know, and saying, "Hey, why? Don't get pissed off because you heard something in the news cycle, or you know, this guy, you know, road rage. Someone puts in front of my car, it pisses me off, you know, and
Yeah.
I, you know, I explode, you know, in that moment. But it's a constant process. But
Understandable.
Absolutely.
cigars help, you know, cigars help.
Oh yeah.
I'm a
Yes.
better person
Mhm.
for cigar because I would be much more aggressive, I think, if I didn't have a cigar.
Yeah. Understandable. That's definitely understandable. Now, you know, I know you say your wife is the total opposite. Now, for me, I'm more of the like, hey, I'm kind of like nonchalant in a way. I'm like, hey, whatever, you know.
Mhm.
You know, but my wife's still like, hey, you remember when you took my chips last month? No, I don't remember, but thanks for bringing it up. Like,
They were delicious.
I think, but I mean, don't get me wrong. My wife does that too. She's not the women are particular in that sense, man. They'll remember everything, you know.
oh
And
my
Yes.
god,
I've learned, you know, a long time ago that it's always a trick question, man. No matter what, it's a trick question. So you never know what to answer because you know they have another thing in mind, you know.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, man. Like she brought that up the other day. She brought that up the other day, and I think it was it. What was it? No, actually, it was a bag of chips because she. No, it was a Rice Krispie treat. It was a Rice Krispie treat. My wife loves Rice Krispie treats. Her and the kids, they eat Rice Krispie treats like it's no tomorrow. And so it was a Rice Krispie treat in there, and I was eating the Rice Krispie treat because I was sharing it with our youngest daughter. And so she tapped me on my shoulder, said, "Hey, babe, you remember?" Because it was the really, you know how they make the big Rice Krispie treats,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I didn't know, like it was just sitting there. It had been sitting there, and I was like, okay, I'll eat it because I wanted, had a craving for a little something sweet. And so I know she was mad, like she was so mad. Like, that was my Rice Krispie treat, and so I thought it was just all just water under the bridge. She tapped me on my shoulder, and said, "Hey, you remember when you ate my last Rice Krispie treat?" I, no, I don't remember. I said, she said, no, you remember because it was the big one. I said, but I already apologized for that. I know you did, but I'm just letting you know I'm still a little pissed off about that because I really wanted that Rice Krispie. I was like, it was there for like 2 weeks. You didn't touch it. You didn't even think about it. You didn't say nothing about it. But yeah, I was going to eat it. But hey, oh well.
Yeah. Don't you just love when they tell you what's in your head? Like, yeah, you remember it. That's
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
you.
All right, man. Let's move on to Justin. Justin, man, how you doing,
Yeah.
man? Mentally, physically, and emotionally. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good, man. You know, everything, the year starting off great. You know what I mean? It's smooth right now, man. I appreciate it, man. Went through, a lot of bumps and everything, and we on the good side of the roller coaster right now. And I think mentally for me, I'm kind of like in a weird place, kind of what I was talking about beforehand. Um, for me, it's like I'm at the age now where things are changing, and it's like not necessarily physically, but things that I like. And once, like, I'm at that point where those things are kind of switching up a little bit. So it's kind of like in a weird space right now. I'm starting to like a lot of things that I didn't like necessarily, and I'm starting to kind of fade away from things that I did. So yeah, it's just part of ever changing life. I mean, but yeah, as far as everything, the family's good. I can't ask for much more, man. I'm feeling good. Feeling good.
That's a bit, bro. That's a bit. Well, you know,
Man, listen, honestly, I'm hanging in there, man. I say every week I'm hanging in there. You know, like like I always feel like you got to have reasons to push through the hard time. And family, kids, especially the kids, they give me reasons for days. I'm like, man, I don't feel like moving today. I don't feel like doing nothing today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we think of them, we like you're not doing it for yourself. And
Mhm.
you're not living for yourself. So get your ass up. Do what you gotta do. If you gotta go to work, you gotta go to work. If you gotta, take care of mom, make sure she's good.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like nobody else is gonna do it but you. So, like in life, you think you choose your hand that's dealt, but a lot of time that all you're doing is pick up the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times you just pick up the cards and playing that hand that you dealt.
Yeah.
So, right now I'm just, right now I'm playing this hand and just hoping a flush will come.
For
hopefully,
sure.
hopefully those good high cards come. So, but
For sure.
I'm pushing through, living day by day, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
I'm gonna tell you, bro. I think you're going through this right now because it's getting close to the time for your son to beat your ass in wrestling.
That's not happening, man.
I knew that was coming.
Get
Philip,
back
listen,
and talking to you.
Philip, listen, if you're available, we're gonna do our best to live stream this on the show, and we would love to have you on when we're able to witness Enno's 18-year-old son wrestle, because his son wrestles for his school, and Enno used to wrestle as well, and also he plays rugby. And Enno says that he is going to whoop his son's ass, but his son is young, a lot younger than he is, and a lot more motivated to body slam the shit out of his dad. And we are rooting for his son to whoop Enno's ass. Because see, Enno still needs his inhalers. Okay. So Enno's going to get tired and he's going to get body slammed. So we're going to do our best to get that on the show, and we would love to have you on so you can witness it along with us.
Listen,
the match gonna be over before I get tired. I'm gonna finish him before that.
yeah. Remember, I'm with Enno. The old lions, they have tricks in their sleeves. You know?
Exactly. See, he know.
Listen, that lion is tired right there. That lion right there is tired.
And listen, even an old tired lion can still bite.
Yeah.
Okay.
He might not bite as fast as he once did, but
listen, all I know is I've never seen a lion have to use an inhaler. Okay.
All right. He gonna use one that day. He gonna take care of business.
Stevie, man, how you doing, man? Mentally, physically, emotionally, bro. How you doing?
No complaints, man. I'm doing good, man. I'm about to take another trip around the sun tomorrow, and
nice.
So.
Blessings.
Yes, sir.
Blessings. Happy birthday.
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
man.
Yes, sir.
I can't complain, man. Family's doing good. We got a little puppy now. My wife's happy. She's been wanting a puppy for so long.
Man.
So, yeah. So, but this gives me more leeway to buy more of these. So
That's
my bargaining chip.
There you go.
There you go. You play smart.
But yeah. Hey, but other than that, man, I can't complain, man. I can't complain at all.
There you go. There you go, man. That's a bit, bro. Hell yeah. Myself,
Yeah, Fred, how you doing, brother? How you doing?
He making babies. That's what he doing.
Hey, man. Actually, no. Well, I'm honestly, bro, I'm getting a little bit better. Not it's just I'm focusing. I'm putting a lot, even more focus for myself with this show because of what's going on with my dad. And so, it's just, making sure that he's good. Philip, my dad was diagnosed with multiple myeloma. So so that has
Sorry to hear
been.
that, Fred.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. My dad is in good spirits. I mean, he starts his treatments this upcoming week, and then after his treatments, he'll be having a bone marrow transplant, and that will put the myeloma in full remission. So that's a good thing.
That's a good
And
thing.
yeah, that's the really good
It's a
thing
great
about it. It's
thing.
just so no man, my dad is a fighter. So my dad has been up and moving around because he's not used to sitting down. And me and my mom, we both agree we never seen, we look at my dad as Superman. My dad has always
Mhm.
been Superman for me. And he broke his arm. His arm just snapped because of the multiple myeloma. So with him having a broken arm, it's just with seeing him like that, I have never seen my dad like that. He's never been through anything like that for himself. And so it's just making sure that I'm there for him in every way possible that I can. I'm getting better myself. I tore my knee in 5 places and I had to have knee surgery. So I'm getting myself better and making sure that I'm good so I can be good for not just my dad but also my little ones and my wife as well. So it's a motivation. It's truly a motivation and
It's hard.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm older than all of you guys, so I've lost my parents already. But I can tell you one thing with my experience with that. The most important thing is you know what's going to come, so we can't change life. But I think both on the younger end, dealing with one's children and then dealing with one's parents, is always let them have the dignity they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very hard because sometimes, I remember, when my parents were my dad died from pancreatic cancer, and he had a month to live, and when they told me, and you know he didn't want me to feel sorry for him, but I, as a son, was sorry. But I said, you got to treat them with the dignity they want, and that gives you
Mhm.
purpose, and it makes you stronger. And the same is with your kids, because your kids, are always in your face, they're screaming, but teach them dignity, teach them self-respect, because if they
Right.
respect themselves, they'll respect everybody else. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's that's my only
Yeah.
word of advice on that,
Yeah.
having lived through that.
Hmm.
And I appreciate it. I really do. Knowing my dad, man, my dad is, he'll be 56 this year. And my dad is one of those guys where he's not gonna let anything keep him down.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's just him. That's just him. And that's one thing he instilled in me, and that's what I'm instilling in my children as well.
Yeah,
So
right.
but other than that, man, I'm really excited for the plans that we have for this show. And listen, I'm gonna tell you, like, I don't nobody, I haven't told anybody this, but Philip, having you on, and I said it earlier, this was my dream interview because I've been wanting to talk to you since 2014, and now that I had the chance that I can call you and talk to you, man. I'm on cloud 9, so I appreciate you for being on here with
Absolutely.
us.
Absolutely.
This was a
Well,
this was a
I'm
fantastic show.
I really like the slant of your show, and I like meeting. I'm glad I met all of you guys, which we're all know each other now and friends, and I hope there's a repeat. I like the fact that you take the time and you listen and you take the time to worry about all the individuals on the show, and about this is the first time I've been on a show where someone is concerned about the physical, mental, and emotional health of people, and that's quite touching. So if we would all do that, we'd all be in a better place.
Yeah,
So true.
yeah,
Absolutely.
that's very true.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, in my mind, I'm like, if we all just slow down for a minute, because just think about we're all either husbands, dads, just hardworking guys that we all come together every week, and no matter it's been a hard week or a good week, we all get on here and we share this time, even though it's only 2 hours. I know we went a little overtime, but it's cool. But we all get a chance to kind of just slow down because life goes so
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
And I think,
therapeutical. It's very
yeah.
therapeutical. Yeah, it
hmm
is.
that's the whole point of it. And so just being on here with everybody that's on here right now and everybody that's watching, like with thank you. We like I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. It's really a blessing to be able to do this. And man, this has been an awesome show. And oh yeah, we're definitely gonna have you on again. Oh
For
wait,
sure.
one
Got
more
you.
question. Do you have any plans on doing anything for PCA, or are you involved with any of that?
I used to go to all the PCAs. I did it for 30 years, and then I just got tired of it. So I no longer go to them. So
Understandable.
it's
Gotcha.
it gets to be too much, after a while. So
Yeah, I
I
get it.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. I definitely get it. Well, listen, you're more than welcome to come back anytime you want.
You let
Just
me know,
just
and
let
Oh
me
then
yeah.
know.
maybe we can do because of the time difference is hard. But I mean, it would be great. One day we can try and do it from the factory, so you can see some things going around in the factory. That would be interesting for you.
Yeah,
That would
that
be
would be
awesome.
awesome.
That would be
Yeah,
outstanding.
that
So
would
Yeah,
be
that'd be great.
awesome.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to plan that for a future show for sure.
okay. Well, thank you so much, guys. And I'm available always. You have my WhatsApp. You have my numbers.
Yes,
So I'm
sir.
always here for you guys. Huh?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank
So
you
thank you.
so much.
Appreciate you.
appreciate it,
Thank you
man.
both
Thank
so
you.
much for coming on.
Thank you so
Okay.
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate
Take
it.
care. God bless. Huh? Bye bye.
All right, thank you.
Bye bye.
All right, y'all. Listen, man, this has been a fantastic show. This has been a great show. We had a great guest, Mr. Philip Wynne of Felipe Gregorio Cigars. This has been a fantastic show. Now next week we are doing it's a free smoke session. It's just another free smoke session. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff we want to talk about. And yeah, it's going to be it's definitely going to be another great show.
Another banger.
Another banger. Another
Yeah,
We
banger.
in
thanks
the
for all the
building.
questions, man. Like you guys had some great questions, man. So we
Sure
really
did.
appreciate you guys. Like
Sure
you
did.
don't know. I know we don't say it often enough, but everybody that tunes in and taps in every week, man, we really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we
Absolutely.
really do. We really
Thank
do,
you.
man. Y'all make the show better. Like y'all
Mhm.
really do. Really, really do. And we appreciate y'all. So of course we'll see y'all next week. And then also next month we're gonna have Omar on.
Omar
Right,
McGee.
Justin?
Omar McGee from Rose Gold Reserve
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Cigars.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And so
definitely.
after that in March, we're gonna have Jeremy Kimbrough. We're switching it up. We're going to a whole different type of
Hmm.
show. And for those who don't know who Jeremy Kimbrough is a former NFL linebacker who switched up his career, and he now works on the pit crew in NASCAR. And so that's going to be another fantastic show. And then also we got some other stuff lined up for you guys, man. The upcoming shows. Now, I mean, well, we'll talk about the cigar y'all want us to review next. As a matter of fact, if you are on Patreon, I'm gonna put up something. If you're on the Patreon, then we'll let the Patreons choose our next cigar to review. I want to do that. Let them pick our next cigar to review. So if you are a Patreon member, we want to thank you because we do have some new people that signed up for the Patreon. We appreciate y'all. And so yeah, I'll
Absolutely.
be putting that up in the Patreon, and they're gonna choose our next cigar that they want us to smoke and review on here. So that's gonna be up next. But next week we for sure have a free smoke session. And yeah, man. So y'all get ready for another banging ass show. Y'all already know how we do. You want to tell a what of a what?
Yo, tell a friend to tell a friend. And as you see, Peter got goddamn eagle mouth because he don't like goddamn pesto pasta. All right. Yo, that's how you
That just
know he
came
don't
out the
got no
blue.
goddamn taste.
What kind of man like no goddamn pesto pasta, man? Yo, man, we out of here, man.
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah, y'all remember,
Stay
Yo.
lit, man. Yo,
y'all remember.
go ahead, Fred.
Stay
You know you. Go ahead, Fred.
Y'all remember, man. Stay lit, stay laughing. Avengers out, man. Now I think we're gonna go over to the Discord. I know I'll be over there in the Discord, and so if y'all can hop on in the Discord, y'all come on over. Yeah. Oh, also wait, next week on in the Discord, next Thursday it was Friday, but he asked me to change it to Thursday. If you're a part of the Discord. We're gonna have a Discord smoke session with Patina. So we're gonna have Mo in the Discord. So if anybody has questions about Patina, anything you want to ask, he's gonna be on 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Okay, we're gonna have him in there. So y'all, that's gonna be another banger right there. So if you're not signed up for the Patreon, if you're not a part of the Discord, only to be a part of the Discord, sign up for Patreon. And you'll get the link to the Discord. So yeah, we'll see y'all next week. Same
For
place,
sure.
same goddamn time. Y'all already know, man. Y'all know the vibes. Stay lit, stay laughing, y'all. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Oh, Ronnie. Go to Ronnie. Right there, you see across the you get on Patreon, go to Patreon and find us on Patreon, the Cigar Avengers Podcast. And you'll get actually go to our Instagram. If you're not on our Instagram, hit that this QR code right here, and it'll lead you straight to our Instagram, and you can sign up through our Patreon in our Linktree. So all right, y'all, we out of here.
You know.